This year we were asked some time ago to consider identifying with people, particularly a World War II veteran or one of our more senior veterans to recognize. And I'm going to bring forward Barbara Sweet with the Quilt of Valor Foundation. Is that correct, Barbara? And she's going to explain this presentation, but it's very meaningful, very impressive, and we have an outstanding person for you to meet here in just a moment.
Thank you, Mayor Eckert, very much. I'm sure you all enjoyed the program yesterday, which was very, very impressive to all of us.
Maybe I should come this way a little bit. Maybe we should.
Is that better?
Yes.
This is not my forte to do this.
No, you're okay. I think the speaker, there's a little bit of composing. Yeah, we're fine.
Okay, here we go again. My sincere appreciation and gratitude is expressed to all veterans and their families, both here today and across the nation. I, Barbara Sweet, was born in Belleville, raised in Belleville, and now am part of our family business in Belleville. My thanks to all of you who have helped keep Belleville, this city pride, alive. My father's name, Hugo Trebe, was a World War II veteran. His name is on the memorial on the public square. So you see how important it is for me to be here today and to honor so many of our veterans, both retired, deceased, and the ones that are here serving today. It's my pleasure to be representing the Quilts of Valor Foundation and the Hearts and Hands Quilt Guild. Quilts of Valor Foundation was started in 2003 by a mother of an Iraq hero. In a dream one night, she saw her son sitting on the side of his bed with a quilt wrapped around him, trying to help ease his pain. She thought about this and decided she had to do something. Her son wasn't home. She knew her son was having some special issues, so she decided that she needed to do something to help a lot of veterans and young people that had served for our freedom. So what did she do? She decided that she would encourage folks to make quilts for veterans. And as of this day, 200,000 quilts have been given to veterans. 200,000. And actually, we hit the 200,000 mark this past week. So Mr. Bruss's number is going to add to that. But that's a lot of quilts, 200,000. The Hearts and Hands group that I belong to will be presenting quilts again this year. We did last year, we presented 5 of them. And this year we plan to have at least 5 to present again in June, when we have our quilt show. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Fred Bruss. Mr. Bruss and his lovely wife, Kathy. There's Kathy. Where you at, Kathy? And then many of his family members are with us as well. Would you please stand so we can see the proud relatives of Fred? Thank you very much. I know you're all very proud of him. Whoops, what did I do? It says off red. That's not right. Oh, here we go. Okay. Just had to be all over. Here's a few details about Fred. Upon returning from his World War II service, he served the city of Belleville for 30 years, retiring as the chief. 30 years he helped us after coming back from serving in World War II. Missions of service that included Fred's missions were Africa, Sicily, Italy, Southern France. He flew 60 combat missions over enemy territory, low-level attacks. He was shot down 3 times. His pilot was killed on the 16th mission, and Fred bailed out over enemy territory. Does this qualify for true heroism for you and I? What do you think? I think so, Fred. Thanks a lot. Before wrapping Fred in the Quilt of Valor, which Carol Pitnowski and I have made for him, Carol quilted it, I pieced it. I'm going to read what the Quilt of Valor Foundation stands for, what their thoughts are, and ways for you to think a little bit deeper about some of your special thoughts. Our nonprofit foundation started in November 2003 with one quilt made by a Blue Star mom, Catherine Roberts, with the goal of making quilts that would both heal and comfort our war wounded. These quilts are called Quilts of Valor. Not all wounds are seen from the outside. Many of our service members return with unseen wounds. Our mission from that very first quilt remains the same today. To cover all active service members and veterans touched by war with comforting and healing quilts of valor is our goal. We have a way to go. I stand before you representing over 6,000 piecers and long armored quilters from all across America that are members of the Quilt of Valor. That means the people that have participated in making quilts for those 200,000. Our foundation represents one human being reaching out and touching another without judgment, reaching out with acceptance, and with the acknowledgement of service to our nation in all conflicts, which includes World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Beirut, Iraq, and Afghanistan, and many more that we all are aware of. A Quilt of Valor is not a charity quilt. It's not a blanket. It consists of 3 layers. The top of the quilt, with its many colors, shapes, and fabrics, represent the many different individuals that we are. The batting is the center of the quilt. Its warm represents our hope that this quilt will bring comfort, peace, and healing to the individual receiving it. The backing is the strength that supports the other layers. It represents the strength of the recipient, the support of his and her or her family, and all of the communities and of the nations. And let's not forget the stitches that hold the layers together. These represent the love, the gratitude, and sometimes even tears of the makers as they're putting them together. We want this quilt to bring you a message from our hearts. We honor you, Fred, for, here I go again. Okay. We honor you for your service. We honor you for leaving all that you hold dear to stand in harm's way in a time of crisis, protecting us from the effects of war. Now this applies to anybody that has received a Quilt of Valor, and the foundation's looking forward and wanting people to know what we really stand for. We know that freedom is not free. The cost of our freedom is the dedication of lives of men and women like you, and this quilt is meant to say thank you for your sacrifice. And finally, this quilt is meant to offer comfort to you, to remind you that although family and friends cannot be with you at all times, you're forever in all of our hearts. For those of us who have never seen combat or been in a war zone, these experiences are far beyond our capacity to ever comprehend. We like to think that we sew your Quilt of Valor. We're sewing it into little bubbles of love, care, and gratitude. It is our hope that when you experience dark times or need the warmth of a grateful hug, You'll wrap your quilt around you so these bubbles will burst and pride you with comfort, love, and strength. Your Quilt of Valor is the highest award that we, as citizens, can bestow upon you. We want you to keep this quilt with you as a tangible reminder that there are thousands of men. You can tell I'm not a speaker. I do a lot of things different than this. I'm sorry. All Quilts of Valor awarded have a Quilt of Valor label on the back of the quilt. The recipient's name, Carol, you want to hold that up and they can see every quilt that is made by the Quilt of Valor. We put the label on there so that they can always be reminded of the people that did this for us. I also have a certificate which he will be receiving, which is a special reminder for him and his family. On the Quilt of Valor is the recipient's name, the date he received it, and the makers and the places where he was located when he received it. We hope this quilt will become your legacy to be passed down to those future generations in your family so they will know of your sacrifice to defend and keep not only their country free, but the freedom of others around the world. I'm proud to say, as I said before, that we have covered over 200,000 of our military with Quilts of Valor. We have many, many more service members to cover, and we can only do it one quilt at a time. One quilt today is one veteran that wasn't honored yesterday, however. We have to look at it that way in a positive light. With these Quilts of Valor, we can also honor the memories of those lost. We will never know the depth of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America. But as a gesture of gratitude from a grateful nation, I ask that you please accept your Quilt of Valor. We're going to wrap it around you, and you will remember this for a long time, okay? All right, Carol, let's wrap it around, okay?
We want to thank you, Carol, and your entire group. You may have missed, but when Barbara was explaining, in case it was a little bit maybe muffled there for a bit, the microphone, Fred spent 30 years in our Belleville Fire Department. And he was on Belleville Fire Chief. I've known Fred since I was a small child. And my father was a Belleville policeman when Fred was fireman, and they were best friends for many, many years. And they were both World War II veterans, and like I said, Fred, you've always had a special place here in Belleville. And when Barbara mentioned about finding someone that might be a consideration for this presentation, you quickly came to mind for all your years of service in the military, and I didn't realize you had that many missions flying in combat. But then the amount of sacrifice and the amount of risk he has taken so many years fighting fires in Belleville. And we appreciate Fred very much.
We have a hero, right?
Yeah! This is awesome. This is awesome.
Okay, this is a certificate that he will receive to keep with his memories. And this is what it says on there. Fred G. Bruss, United States Army Air Corps, World War II. The Quilt of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your sacrifice to your nation. We consider it a privilege to honor you. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice and service to protect and defend the United States of America as an expression of gratitude, We award you this Quilt of Valor, 11th day of November 2018, Belleville, Illinois. And on the back of the certificate are the words that I read to you from the Quilt of Valor Foundation. So you won't have to worry if you remembered them or not. They're right there for you. Okay.
We read them every day.
Will you give this to your beautiful wife over there? Yes. Okay.
I want to thank all of you for sticking around for this very important presentation. I want to thank you again for your presence here today at the importance of Veterans Day here in Belleville. Again, I want to thank the Philharmonic.
Mr. Mayor, in tribute to our honoree, may we play in the Star Spangled Banner?
I think we can do that, and we will all stand for that again. We'll
Thank
be
you.
glad to. For those who don't know it, the city of Belleville is blessed. We have the second oldest continuous reigning Philharmonic in the nation, and we are so proud of our Philharmonic. This is just a very small part of it, but thank you. Thank you very much. Patty Gregory just reminded me, besides some refreshments left, we have some Art on the Square posters, and those Art on the Square posters you can certainly have. They are always involved our Veterans Fountain. And it's a neat symbol, and there's some here from this year. I guess we're back over by the reception area. They'll be glad to give you one. Thank you again to everyone for being here, for sticking around, and for sharing in this very important day. Thanks so much.